But we are back. We are back in England, guys. Welcome back to another video. I've returned finally from Spain. I spent just over a month there. And I'm now back in my hometown in the UK. And as promised, as I said, this video is going to be like a wrap up of my whole entire experience in Spain. So I'm going to quickly like break down all the different stuff I did, sort of give like a recap of every situation, like a little bit of inside knowledge into things, you know what I mean? Because I filmed so much, don't get me wrong. Like I filmed what, like 6-7 videos in Spain. I pretty much did a week's worth of filming in like the 3 hours there. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of days where I wasn't filming, I was doing other stuff, and there's some stories I need to tell you guys. So in Spain, I saw loads of people do it to the side like that, like I'm bad now, boys, you get me? So I'm trying a new style, you know what, I'm kind of running with it. I feel Spanish now, you get me? So let's break down this video. You know, I went to Spain for over a month. I got used to the lifestyle, I got used to the weather, more importantly, and coming back to the UK, I was worried. I went to Madrid literally a week ago, and it was 24 degrees, that was quite hot. Now it's 36, mind blowing. So thankfully I'm not there now. I was there last year in the peak of summer. I know what 38-degree heat feels like. But yeah, I come back to the UK now, and look at this beautiful summer's day, just what you want coming back to your home country. It would have been horrible coming back and it was freezing cold, so it's hot. But anyway, let's sit down and I'll explain to you guys. So I've got a little bit of explaining to do. I don't want to drag this out, I don't want to make it like the longest process in the world, but I'll break down my whole experience. So at the start, when I very first went, my first week was in Malaga. That's where I landed in Spain. So my first time staying in the hostels, all the shared accommodation and stuff, and it was a real learning experience. Anyone that solo traveled and done all the hostels and stuff, unless you love it straight away, you know it takes some getting used to. It really does. And for me, it definitely was that case. My whole experience of going to Spain this time for a month was to scout out sort of the 4 or 5 main cities I went to see which one was my favorite, because in the future I want to go and live there. I want to work in Spain. That's my dream, to like one day be there, working there, and you know, live my life there. And I'll definitely come back with a good result for that. The whole sharing accommodation, the hostels, it's great because you meet loads of people. It definitely is the way for solo traveling. So I'll start off with all the locations I went. You know what, I'm going back to my side hat thing. I don't care if I look like an absolute dick. And speaking about Spain, I want to feel Spanish, you know, I look like a twat, but I'm running with it anyway. Marbella was a beautiful place, really only have good things to say about it. So that was only a day trip. My brother came out for a holiday, you know, we decided to spend a day. He drove like 4 hours to come see me. That was a day where all the power in Spain and Portugal went. That was an experience, and I spoke about it in one of the vlogs, but I didn't really go into it too much, because at the time, we were in Marbella driving, and we didn't really notice it until the night time. Traffic lights in the road, we're getting escorted by the police. Like, the traffic lights just weren't working. It was a mad experience. I ended up meeting so many people that night because the hostel sort of came together. You had nothing to do, just sat around until about 5 AM. And then finally the next morning, everything got back to normal. It didn't last too long, but that was just a crazy experience. From Malaga, again, for my second time, I then went to Seville, or Sevilla. You know, in the English language, it's called Seville, or that's how I pronounce it, and they haven't got a clue what that means. You say, can I get a taxi to Seville? They look at you, like, what is that? Then it's Sevilla, that's how they pronounce it anyway. And my lord, that is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen in my life. And it's so hot, but it's such a nice city, and I would take that in an instant. From Sevilla, I was only there for 4 days, and all I had left that I wanted to explore was Barcelona. But from Sevilla to Barcelona is like an 8-hour train ride, so I didn't really fancy that one. Madrid was a perfect pit stop, right in the middle of the both of them. And I'd already been there, but I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go back to Madrid. And I love Madrid, I don't care. I can spend my whole lifetime there. I just don't know, I really like Madrid. There's so much to see, there's always so much to do. You know, I went back to Madrid, done a lot, and then went to Barcelona afterwards, where I spent my last like 4 or 5 days, and then came home, which I'm now back in England. Malaga, 100%, I could see myself living that place. It felt like home in the end. Where I was there, I got familiar with everyone, and with the mixture of the beautiful city and the beach, I could see myself living there tomorrow. Like, it's so good. And then also my next favorite one is Madrid. I really like Madrid, and it took some getting used to because it's, you know, a lot more busy. There's no beach, it's right in the center of the country. But could I see myself living in Madrid? 100%. Like, it is fucking incredible. I love it there. And just like Malaga, Madrid started to feel like home in the end. I really got familiar with the place, and they're really friendly too, which some of the other places such as Barcelona and even like Sevilla, they're not as friendly to the English, but from my personal experience, but they still weren't unfriendly. I mean, coming from England, everyone's a twat. Everyone's a complete dickhead. I'm used to people just being, you know, rude and arrogant, just being in England, so it really wasn't that bad. Like, compared to what we have in England, that's nothing, so I'm used to it. Barcelona was really nice, and that is everybody's favorite. Everyone I speak to, Barcelona's my favourite every single time. But I don't know, Barcelona for me is amazing. I love the city, the beach is incredible. It just didn't have that home feel to me. And yeah, I was there less time than Madrid and Malaga, so I'll take that into consideration. And what I loved about the solo aspect and staying in the hostels, everyone's in the same situation as you, and you realise everyone has their own story to why they're doing it. It's so nice and like refreshing talking to people with similar interests. Like it's 100% like I'm completely different mindset wise to everyone my age. When you're from a small town in the middle of nowhere, your life is a bubble. It really is, and you don't realise there's a life outside of that bubble. It's rare that someone wants to get out of it and actually do something different and do something new. Classic English towns, you get surrounded, going out partying every fucking night, going clubbing. And you can say the same about Spain. They love the nightlife, they love going out and partying and stuff. They're not doing it to get on every drug under the sun, to drink as much alcohol as possible. And it's just a different vibe completely. They're doing it for the fun of it, and it is a different vibe. So yeah, to sum up everything, it's been one hell of an experience. It really has. I've learned so much, and I've answered my own questions really. I know where I'd love to live now. Obviously there's so many other places in the country I didn't go to that may be amazing, but out of the main ones, it sort of gave me the answers I was looking for. They have it right, I'm jealous at the end of the day. I'm so jealous of their lifestyle. Like, I wish I was Spanish. I wish I was a guy living in Spain. I was Spanish, because they have it right. They have the lifestyle how life should be. They've got their priorities straight. Everyone's enjoying life and having fun, which in the UK, that doesn't happen. I mean, there's a lot more laughter, happiness in Spain. And one thing for me that really stood out, the nightlife. Obviously, their nightlife, they do everything later, but I don't mean that. I mean like the atmosphere in the air. Walking around at night, like the atmosphere. In the UK, I would say past even like 8 p.m, in the city I live, in just your towns, wherever in the UK, nighttime's so sketchy. It really is. You walk around at night, you're constantly on edge because there's idiots about. There's going to be fights, there's going to be like drug stuff around, and it's dangerous at the end of the day. You don't feel safe whatsoever at night in the UK, whereas Spain, I mean, you can walk around at night and feel so safe. Like, there's no sketchy atmosphere in the air. There isn't people being really rowdy and just in your face, and you're not fearing for your life essentially. And having that is such a privilege. I'm going around Spain at 2 o'clock in the morning. You feel so safe. Everyone's friendly, everyone's doing their own thing. Even in the main cities too, you're not surrounded by like a weird atmosphere, and you're not on edge. In England, it really is horrible. You can't walk around at night without feeling on edge, without feeling safe, or you probably bump into the wrong people that you're gonna have fights, or knife crime is scary. Every youngster these days is carrying knives, and they like to start on you for no reason, and it's something in the UK that you have to get used to, and that is nightlife at the end of the day. And that's why it's not a big thing, because it's sad, it's really down, it's sketchy, it's a scary feel. And when you're used to that, and as someone from the UK, coming from a rundown, council estate, everyone's used to it. And when you really deep it, thinking as an English person, you have to be used to that. Crazy. That is crazy to think about that. That's normal. That's how the world is. At first I was really on it, because that's how you are in the UK. You're on it. You're constantly checking your shoulder. You're sussing people out, trying to figure out if they're trying to rob you or not. Instinct to me, because that's what I'm used to. But when everyone in Spain is just friendly, having a great time at night, and it creates this beautiful atmosphere. It's something I'm not used to, but I'd love to be used to. You get me? So I would love to be used to that. And having that, in the end, I used to love going out really late at night in Spain, because it's just so fun. All round, just living in Spain would be actually incredible.